I predicted USC to lose this game 24-23. The final score was 29-28. This is the most accurate prediction I've had so far this season. If this is your first time watching my videos and you're new to the channel, I make prediction videos for USC. I've been doing it since last year. I had done predictions independently before YouTube in 2022 and 2021. I didn't do so well in 2021, did much better in 2022, and then I decided, well, let's make the predictions for YouTube. So if you want to see the rest of my predictions, you can look in the description of the video and see everything there. But talking about this game, this was the most accurate prediction I've had. I haven't been very good in my predictions so far this year. I'm now 4-3 in terms of the wins and losses. This fourth win in my prediction is now USC's fourth loss. And the scenario that I had described for how USC would lose in my prediction video is almost exactly the same as how it played out here. That they would have a chance in the fourth quarter with a few minutes left. If they could just make a crucial first down, they get it. They could then run down the clock and win the game that way. But instead, the offense would stall and USC would be forced to punt. But instead of punting, they would have to go, in this case, for a long distance field goal on a 4th and 1. That didn't work out. So, you'd think, well, they probably should have just gone for it on 4th and 1, but they tried to kick a field goal to get those extra points and put the game away that way, but that didn't work out. So anyway, Maryland gets the ball back. And in the prediction video, I mentioned how once Maryland got the ball back, they would make a couple heroic plays to advance the ball down the field. And on one of those plays, I predicted that Maryland would throw a pass and USC would be called for pass interference and set up really good field position for them to eventually win the game with a field goal. Now, instead of a field goal, they had to get a touchdown, and they managed to get the touchdown and get up by 1 point. Now, how did they get up by 1 point? Well, when Maryland scored a touchdown and the score became 28-20, Maryland coach decided to go for it, go for the 2 points. And I wouldn't even say that was a gamble, because he knew this USC team that he was playing, and he felt confident enough that his team could get the 2 points, and they did. So there you go. So then it became 20-22. So that whole scenario, became exactly true. And it doesn't matter if USC was playing Penn State, who's in the top 5, or now a lowly Maryland. USC would play to that competition and always find a way to end up on the losing side. And now this is that. What I said that in the prediction video. They'll play up to the competition, they'll play down to the competition. And now we know the range that they can play in, from Penn State all the way down to Maryland. So USC, unfortunately, is not in a good position, and they've come awfully close because they've had leads in every single one of these games, but they haven't managed to hold on for the win. And it's one thing if it happens one time, but now it's happening, week after week. And at a certain point, you're going to start looking at the coaches. You're going to start looking at the head coach, and patience is wearing thin for the fans, and time is ticking. Time is starting to run out. If Lincoln Riley doesn't figure something out. Now, had he not had the issues with Alex Grinch from last year, and USC, had they finished with a more respectable record, and I'm not even saying they had to have won the Pac-12 or make it to the playoffs, but had they just had a more respectable record, then that could have bought Lincoln Riley some time, in a season like this, in year 3, that if he didn't do so well, people might not be happy about it, but they, would be more inclined to, maybe, give him a pass, because, you don't have Caleb Williams anymore. You didn't have a great defense last year, and you're trying to get things turned around, and maybe just in this year 3, this wasn't going to be it. Maybe by year 4, but and that's what I trying to be optimistic, or I would, or not say optimistic, but had Lincoln, let's say if Lincoln Riley was, doing a little bit better, that maybe, maybe they weren't going to be playing great, but if he had just done a little better, maybe give him a chance for year 4. But now people are starting to feel like, there won't be a chance for a year 4. So who knows what's going to happen, but right now things aren't looking so great. And this team, I don't really know what it's going to be like the rest of the way, because the way that they've played, you can't trust them. You can't trust them against the top teams, and you can't trust them now against the bottom teams. So for me, all I can do is basically predict losses for USC every game the rest of the way. And even if you don't see any of my videos ever again, you could just know I'm going to be predicting losses the rest of the way. And USC could still win some of those games, but right now I can't trust them. And so it's one thing also when people talk about the refs, well, the refs should have called these plays or that, but if you're a good team, you will always be above, your performance should always be above, whatever the refs' calls are. Like let's say even during the Pete Carroll years, yeah, there were times where the refs weren't being fair to them, but if USC played good football, then they could overcome a lot of those calls that don't go their way. So I'm not gonna be sitting here blaming the refs, because if it's week after week and you're playing these close games and you're just not coming, you're ending up on the losing side, that's a pattern, and that's just not a good sign. Now, the team, a lot of the issues still stem from both line play, offense and defensive lines. And this year they're trying to, at least on the defensive side of the ball, they're trying to get things turned around. But I just don't think they have the depth or all the talent there, right now. And with the offensive line, I think they need to get a new line coach. They got to build up some more depth. They got to recruit better, because the last couple of years they really haven't done a great job in that area. And you're going to fall behind a lot of the bigger name competitors out there. So there's a lot of issues. And with Lincoln Riley, I want to be supportive. I want things to work out. If you're a fan of your team, you want to see your team win, and even if the coach isn't doing as great of a job as you would like, you would still like to see the team win. But it's just making you question if Lincoln Riley is going to be able to kind of lead this team for the future. So who knows about that? So anyway, this video could go on a lot longer, but not this game didn't end the way we would have liked. But even if USC had won this game, this team still has a bunch of issues to fix. And right now they're playing for bowl eligibility, but I don't even know if they're going to make it to that. So it's what it is. But if you want to see, if you still want to watch my videos, or for the future, you can subscribe. I'll be making my predictions and recap videos the rest of the way. So until then, fight on.